Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2019 Subaru Crosstrek. Big thank you and shout out to Mark Miller Subaru for providing us with the vehicle today, but let's just get right into the video. So this is the 2-liter flat 4 engine that is in the Crosstrek. This is actually the same motor that's in the Subaru Impreza. Has the same power figures, so 152 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque through a CVT transmission to Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. This is going to be rated for 27 around town, 33 on the highway, and then you're going to be 29 combined. And obviously up front we have Subaru's signature headlights with the little LED accent lighting, and then the projector bulbs, fog lamps down below. You can see since this is a Crosstrek, they kind of do a little bit different with the bumpers right there, so to make it a little bit better for off-road. And then you can see Subaru's signature logo up front. And then something that I do want to mention is this paint. Let me see if I can get good lighting on it so you can see it. It is kind of like a newer color for Subaru. Cool gray khaki is the color. It's kind of like a nice flat kind of bluish gray. I definitely love that paint. And then you can see the Crosstrek rims that they do with little silver inserts, and then they're blacked out as well. You can see the parking sensors there on the back with the backup camera. Popping open the hatch, you can see Subaru offers again. You've got the cloth floor mats, and you have a little rubber cover back here. This does come with a cargo cover as well. Even though it's kind of like a lifted hatchback, it still gives you that utility. Hopping around to the back, you can see there's tons of space back here, more of that carbon fiber looking trim. And then you do get these leather bolsters here with the orange contrast stitching, cup holders. More than enough space here. I actually have the seat where I'd normally sit, and I mean, you've got more than enough leg room in the back here. And then you can see the sun from the sunroof. Popping up front, you do get that keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, you just put your hand on the back. You can see the power adjustments for the driver's seat controls, all your window controls, mirror controls, everything right there as well. And you can see the seats look very cool. They've got these nice bolsters on them, so they look really sporty as well, but overall they've done a great job with the interior. And now that we're into the interior here, we can see again the controls for the volume and Bluetooth on the steering wheel right here. You also get your controls for the cruise control, all that. Paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel as well. And then you've got all your little controls there. So, for example, the blind spot monitoring, if you want to turn that off. The other safety tech controls are up right here, so your forward collision warning and your lane departure assistance. To start up the Crosstrek, all you have to do is put your foot on the brake and push the push start button, and then it'll start right up. You can see the traditional gauges right here with the speedometer and the tachometer right there, and then you can get some fuel economy gauges there. You can show other information there as well. And then you have your second set of gauges right here. They give you a bunch of information on the vehicle, so like fuel economy, range, all that kind of stuff, outside temperature. So it basically shows you everything that you could ever want to know on the vehicle. Here is Subaru's infotainment system, and again, this is just instantaneous response time. Everything just happens right away whenever you click it, and they do leave some analog controls down there so that it makes it so it's a lot easier to use the system overall. And then you have your regular radio controls on the side right there. You've got all your climate controls down there, and then you have your gear selector right here with the manual mode, which you can use those paddle shifters that are on the back of the steering wheel when you're in that manual mode. Your controls for the heated seats, and then this is kind of like your off-road mode that you can put it into, since a Crosstrek is supposed to be more of an off-road vehicle. Glove box right there as well with all your owner's manuals, everything. And then you can see obviously these seats have the nice orange stitching on them, full leather on the seats. So overall they look very, very nice. And you can see all the door panels have the nice contrast orange stitching as well with the black leather. And then you can see that kind of carbon fiber looking trim throughout the interior as well, so it kind of makes it look a little bit sportier and a lot cooler as well. And then you do get a sunroof up top. Pop it into reverse, we can see that nice backup camera with the trajectory lines right there, so you can go exactly where you need to go. It's got the 2 sets of lines, and so it's definitely a very nice system, works very well. So we are setting off now in the 2019 Subaru Crosstrek, and just like the Impreza, other than, you know, some tweaks with the infotainment system, everything is pretty similar from the previous year, and so they didn't really need to change much because it's already a great offering. You know, it's basically, if you love the Imprezas and you live in a place where you need to have a little bit more ground clearance because you have to go off-road or something like that, this is exactly what you go for, because you get that versatility of the Impreza hatchback, but then you get more ground clearance as well, and so it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And then I'm sure a question that a lot of you might have is, you know, on the ride quality, since this is a little bit higher off the ground, it has a little bit more aggressive tires for the off-road capability, you know, does it ride smooth? And the answer to that simple answer is yes, it does ride very smooth. You don't really give up a lot by going to the Crosstrek. You get a lot, obviously, because you get the higher ground clearance, but you don't give up a lot on the ride quality side of things because it actually rides very smooth, and the steering feel is just as direct in terms of turning and all that, just like the Impreza and just like on the Impreza hatchback as well. We're about to go on the interstate to get a little bit of an acceleration with the Crosstrek, and we can kind of compare that to the Impreza or the Impreza hatchback. And then obviously my apologies for the light. The sun's just kind of coming up, so it is going to be a little bit bright on the camera. But what I am noticing is the acceleration is very similar to that of the Impreza and the Impreza hatchback. I am noticing it does feel just a titch bit slower, and that's going to come from the more aggressive tires, and then obviously a little bit higher off the ground with the ground clearance, and so it's got a little bit more distance to travel with the wheels, and so then that does make sense that it feels a little bit titch bit slower, but it's not a huge amount at all. Now in terms of ride quality, it's actually riding over the highway very, very smoothly, and you know, these highways in Utah are actually pretty beat up, and the fact that it's driving as smooth as it is and it's not jumping me all over the place, definitely a huge plus on that as well. I cannot praise Subaru enough for all of this safety tech. It's not super intrusive, but it definitely does give you little reminders to keep you safe while you're driving. If you drift out of your lane a little bit too much, or if you're maybe not paying attention and the person in front of you is slowing, there's just all those little tidbits that they constantly give you in terms of what's happening around you. Like right now it's telling me I'm going a little bit off to the right too much, and so I love that it gives me little warnings, but it's not super intrusive. It doesn't turn the wheel or anything like that crazy, and so Subaru's done a fantastic job with their safety tech. And then overall, to wrap things up, you know, what would you go to the Crosstrek for? So this would be a great option, again, like I said, if you love the Impreza already, but in general, if you don't need, you know, the big size of an SUV, but you want ground clearance, you want a little bit extra storage space, kind of like, you know, a hatchback alternative, obviously, and you want to get better fuel economy, this is the route to go, because it gives you all those functions, but it's not a big hefty SUV. It's just a little bit larger vehicle than obviously like a sedan or a traditional car, but it's not massive, so it's easy to drive around, it's easy to park, all of that. Here we have it, everyone, the all-new 2019 Subaru Crosstrek. Thank you so much for watching. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Comment down below what you thought. Again, huge shout out and thank you to Mark Miller Subaru for providing us with the vehicle today. And I will see all of you in that next video.